New video of a man beaten by DeSoto Parish jail deputies surfacing years after a KSLA News 12 investigation. Now, the video comes from a 2019 arrest that has since landed 2 DeSoto jail deputies behind bars.
KSLA Investigates first told you about the arrest years ago, and for the first time, you're getting a look at footage that current and former law enforcement are calling unacceptable.
Unbelievable. I mean, it was just unbelievable what I saw. Unbelievable.
What LSU Shreveport professor Riley Young is describing and what you're about to see is footage of Jarius Brown during his intake process at the DeSoto Parish jail in 2019. This video from the jail has no audio, but it appears to show deputies asking Brown to remove his clothes. We've blurred him from the waist down as officers appear to ask him to remove each piece of clothing, even his underwear. The video shows Brown complying step by step, and once he's naked, they tell him to squat, even demonstrating more than once. Then, moments later,
once he was completely naked, and they just put him in a corner and started beating on this guy. And I was going like, what was that about? You know, and they continued to beat this guy until they got tired, basically.
Dozens of punches caught on camera while Brown shields himself and even falls to the floor, unarmed and unclothed.
We can't fight naked. That's just not, I don't know what it is about trying to fight naked. So the guy, you know, was at a complete disadvantage. And then there was 2 deputies, 2 officers, law enforcement officers, that were wailing on this guy for no apparent reason. They just got him naked, boxed him into the corner, and started beating on him.
After 47 seconds, the beating finally stops. The video shows a deputy handing Brown a jumpsuit, which he puts on before they leave the room. Eventually, we see Brown again, this time in front of another jail employee after the assault.
He resisted.
The deputy who punched Brown dozens of times simply nods. KSLA's former chief investigator Stacey Cameron first showed you this video of the aftermath years ago.
One ongoing criminal investigation.
At the time, the DeSoto Parish Sheriff's Office and the Louisiana State Police said video of the assault didn't exist. We asked Professor and former law enforcement officer Riley Young to review the footage of Brown's assault. He says that amount of force is never justified.
Like I say, I have no idea what was being said, but evidently what they were telling him he was complying with, because there was no belligerence or anything that I could detect on his part. And the next thing I know, they boxed him into a corner and just started pummeling the heck out of him.
When you look at that, it's very difficult to comprehend how any human being could treat another human being in that way.
Attorney Nora Ahmed with the ACLU is representing Brown on a civil case stemming from the assault. She says it took years for the footage of the beating to be made public through court proceedings at the federal level.
And at the time, the public had not seen, nor had it been disclosed to any attorney at the time, the events that preceded that, which led to the scene that we saw in the video of a bloodied Mr. Brown who could barely sit up straight.
DeSoto Parish Sheriff Jason Richardson says one of the deputies resigned before the department could start their own investigation. Louisiana State Police initially cleared the deputies of any wrongdoing, saying the use of force was justified and calling Brown the aggressor. This was after they reviewed that footage of Brown being punched. In a statement to KSLA, LSP said they did not receive the video and incident reports from the sheriff's office until July 2020, adding, quote, "This case was certainly not ignored. It was prioritized along with everything else that detectives were working on." Sheriff Richardson pointed out a segment of the video before the assault where he says Brown appeared to resist the deputies. But he did reiterate that what happened between Brown and those deputies was completely improper and illegal. Brown has another hearing in his case coming up in November, and Sheriff Richardson told me that these officers clearly violated the department's use of force policy. The sheriff says they're increasing the use of body cameras to give a more complete view in incidents like this if they do happen.